So Timo, thanks for taking the hot seat this quarter.
Thank you, Ansi.
And looking at the general business environment and the ABB performance in the first quarter, what would be your key takeaways?
Well, I think it was a good quarter on an uncertain environment. I mean, first of all, if you look at the demand picture, we had strong order growth. Our orders grew 28% comparable, and it was great to see that it was actually strong in all of our business areas, in all regions, and also virtually all customer segments. Then if you look at the revenues, we had 7% revenue growth, so we were impacted by the external environment and supply chain as well as semiconductors, and that actually led then us building backlog, which also impacted cash negatively. On the other hand, when you look at the margin, I'm actually quite pleased with the margin progression. We had 14.3% of EBITDA margin, and even if you would sort of make it comparable and take out the extraordinary impact from the lower corporate cost and also the Dodge impact, which was a high margin business we sold last year, you would still have a slight uptick on the margin. So I think the teams have done well in managing in this complex inflationary environment.
And I want to come back to your cash flow comment there, because you've been very optimistic about cash flow going into 2022, but it was a little bit of a soft start to the year and down a fair bit compared to Q1 last year. Has anything changed, or do you still feel confident for the rest of the year?
No, let's say in bigger picture, nothing has changed. So ABB continues to be a company with a good cash drop through. Now, Q1 was a bit lower cash than we expected going into the quarter. But as I said, we had net working capital buildup, which was really driven by higher order backlog, as we of course need to get ready to deliver that backlog. We also had a couple of, let's call it one-time items or extraordinary items. We had higher incentive payment because we had really good results 2021, and that of course is paid out now, Q1 22. And then we also had some cash taxes related to the separations of turbocharging and e-mobility businesses. But if you take a bit of a longer view on ABB, I mean, we also had low Q1 cash 2018, 2020, and we came in well. And if you look at the quality of our inventory and quality of our receivables, they are good, and I expect a solid cash delivery for this year as well.
But I want to come back also to your portfolio changes, because you are in the midst of exiting 2 full divisions. And then, of course, during the first quarter, we saw the terrible outbreak of the war in Ukraine. Has this at all interrupted your plans or changed plans of any sorts?
Well, of course, we look at the external market environment. But first of all, when you look at e-mobility, we still think that there should be a window for IPO during Q2, so no change on that timeline. And regarding turbocharging, yes, we have said that we now would expect to make a decision between sale or a spin during Q2. So kind of like you could say, slight delay from original schedule there. But overall, our plans have not changed. And also, both businesses are doing really well. So we're really only assessing the external environment regarding these 2 transactions.
And finally, Timo, you have announced another share buyback program. Is this something we should expect to see from ABB on a continuous basis going forward?
Well, we have clear capital allocation principles, and I'm pleased to see that we can now execute on all of them. And in that sense, the buyback is a good way to return excess cash to shareholders. ABB has a strong balance sheet, and we also have a good cash generative business model. So in that sense, I would see a situation where we should be both able to do our planned small to mid-size acquisitions, as well as to return capital to shareholders or also through buybacks. And of course, we drive our capital allocation principles to get the best possible long-term value for our shareholders.
Thanks, Timo, for taking the hot seat this quarter again.
Thank you.